Hi guys, it's Cal from Dirty Weasel, and welcome back to the Fallout New Vegas modding series for Mod Organizer. In this episode, we will be covering 4 different tools that help you in modding your game. Namely, they will be Loot, the load order optimization tool, which reorders your plugins list to help prevent crashes due to conflicts. FNVedit, which allows you to clean your mods of dirty edits and make merge patches for better compatibility. And we'll be finishing up with Wrye Flash NV, where you'll be creating bash patches to merge mods and reduce the plugin count. So let's get right into this and head to the desktop. Alright, here we go, and the first thing we're going to do today is Loot, the load order optimization tool. Give you a little bit of history. Remember back in the day when we first started modding, we all used Boss. And you could set your load order, provide exclusions, and it had a lot of useful functions. Loot is the spiritual successor to Boss, and it is a lot more optimized and will have a lot better functionality for you, and you can actually integrate it into Mod Organizer. So let's go look at it on the net, and you can see I have Google open right here, and it is Loot, and there's the home, and it is loot.github.io. And it is the load order optimization for Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 3, and Fallout New Vegas. Basically, say the right order for your mods is a critical step, and the Loot can help with that by promoting automated load order sorting that's simple to use and fully customizable. Cool! So while sorting, Loot checks for load order errors such as incompatibilities and missing requirements, and notifies you of any issues that it detects. It also provides functionality for Wrye Flash later on by providing tags for it to run with. So it's a very useful tool, and it's almost a necessity for any modder nowadays. So what I would suggest is get the download Loot stable, and you will then go down here, and you have 2 options. You have the Loot archive, and you have the Loot installer. This function is, I'm going to suggest using the installer, and I have a couple reasons for doing that, but we'll go over those in just a second. So you'd go ahead and click this, and then it'll go to your favorite download spot. Mine's in downloads, or wherever you put it. I've already got it right here on the desktop. And it's as simple as double clicking on Loot, and you will see that it says yes, we want to install that, and you can choose your language of choice. Mine is English, and you hit continue. Now, this startup guide will go through installation of Loot, and you hit Next. Now, here's the thing, is I'm going to show you this real fast. If you have Skyrim and Fallout New Vegas, you can normally put this inside of the games folder of your choice. But when you have both, Loot doesn't like to be installed in 2 places at once, and will actually tell you to uninstall it first. So my suggestion is to, send it to your local games drive, and mine, of course, is on my E drive. And you can see that's where I keep all my Steam stuff, Steam apps, Common, you can see Skyrim and Fallout New Vegas in there. So, that's probably the best choice, and all you would do is have Mod Organizer go and say, well, I want to run this in Skyrim Mod Organizer or Fallout New Vegas Organizer. And those are just in the binaries, so I would go ahead and click Install. And it says completed. Hit Next. And you can run Loot, or you can run the README, and we'll just go ahead and finish it, and it'll show it to you real fast. And you see the README here. It's introduction, installation, and uninstallation using Loot. I think if you've used Loot before, you can basically get through this, but we'll show you a little bit more about that later. So we'll just go and close those down. And you can see it'll open a little box for you right here. But we're going to come back to that in just a second. So we're just going to close it down. We'll set this over to the side. We are going to open up our Mod Organizer for Fallout New Vegas. And open that up and take a look. Alright. So this is, your basic install. Nothing special going on just yet. But over here in your executables is where we're going to look. I want to see this. See, we've got nothing else going on, just the stuff we installed last episode. Go to executables. And you are going to click one, and under this title right here, you want to put in Loot, L-O-O-T. And we are going to go search the binaries. And so you click that, and you would have to go to our E drive. And there's loot right there. So in our E drive, this is going to be covering everything in my games. You double click that, and we are looking for the executable. So you want to highlight it and open. Okay. Now it's set the binary to run that executable for loot. Now, since this is a new executable, we want to click. Actually, I want to have close mod organizer when started. I want to have that unchecked because a lot of times we're working on these mods and we want to be able to see them right away. So we hit add, just like that. Okay, and close. Now, when we go into our executables, you'll see loot. Okay, I of course like to have everything on a toolbar, and there's loot right there. So now that we've got that installed, let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. Now, I ran this last time for Skyrim. So I want to change the game. And it's going to recognize any games. You can see that was a little grayed out. Skyrim is in bold. Fallout 3 is a little grayed out. And then we're looking for Fallout New Vegas. Hit that. Okay, so now if you open this up a little bit, it says Loot Fallout New Vegas. And you hit Sort Plugins. Now, I don't have a lot to sort right now, obviously, but it will go through and do this anytime that you run loot. It's going to keep looking. It's going to be for a while. There we go. And so you have calculated load order. Basically, I've got nothing going on, so we can go and click cancel. And it will give you a message window with a summary of all the active plugins, dirty plugins, error messages, and that. And one of the things that you can do is hit details. And this will actually tell you the errors that you have as far as dirty edits, that need to be cleaned with FNVedit. So this is a good quick tool to see what problems you potentially have, right? So we can just close these down and just remember the functionality. If you want to play your game, 4 GB Fallout New Vegas, if you want to run loot, you hit that, right? Pretty simple. So that's it for loot, guys. I'm going to put that back, clean up my desktop for the next step. So loot is an invaluable tool and something that you will use a lot while using Fallout New Vegas 4 Mod Organizer. So we'll move on to the next section. FNVedit. This tool has a couple of functionalities. You remember we just showed you how to look into loot and see all your dirty edits and things that need to be cleaned up. Well, FNVedit is going to be that tool. It also has the functionality of creating a merge patch, which will help improve the stability of your game. And by basically merging a lot of mods into a merge patch, you help them to kind of play nicely together, to get along with all the other kids in the playground and to not create so many conflicts. So basically, let's go to the internet and we'll pull it up, and you can see it's on the Nexus mod page. And you can see it's been downloaded a bunch. It's a good tool. And also on this page, you can go through and how to clean your mods if you're a mod maker. And Gopher also has videos on how to use FNVedit. Basically, it's the same process as you would use for Skyrim, so his videos are very valuable there. But what we're going to do is go to Files, and you will basically find the main file, FNVedit 3_32 experimental. And I know it says experimental, don't worry about that. It's been experimental for a long time. Don't worry about that. So, it's just what they call it. So you would want to click this download manually, once again, to wherever your downloads are. And mine are go to the downloads thing, but I've got it on my desktop. There's a couple different ways of doing this. I look inside this file, and you have edit scripts, FNV hardcode, or ignore it. I don't understand what this message is. I'm just going to ignore it. FNVedit exec and TES5 edit readme.txt. If you want to read this, you can. Basically, it talks a little bit about different versions, how to rename these things. But basically, I wouldn't worry about that too much. So, we have this Flash, or this WinRAR file, 7-zip file open. And you could go into your files, and all my games are on my E drive. Whoops, that's the right one. I want Steam. Steam apps, common, Fallout New Vegas. And this is going to be where you will be putting things. Remember, you have the FNV 4GB exec, and you have the Fallout New Vegas exec. This is going to be the root file that you want to have for this. So there's a couple different options. You could either highlight, control click, and just drag and drop, and that will work. Okay. Or you can do this. You can just take the whole thing, drop it in there, and then extract files here. Right. I don't think there's a good or bad way to do either one. Let's just get rid of this. Shouldn't have even put it in there. Should have just been experimental. Anyways, I do things basically, I like to look at it, highlight the ones I need. I don't need the text file. I'm just going to drag and drop over these in here. Okay, that's all it is. It's just a drag and drop. So we can go ahead and close that, and we're going to stick this over here on the side. So now you can see all of these are in here. All right. So we can close this file. Now, grab your mod organizer for Fallout New Vegas. Mine's the Nuka-Cola bottle cap, and we will open that. Once again, this will be a similar solution to what we did for loot, and you would come over to your executables, click it, and we are going to call it FNVedit under our titles, and we're going to go check the binaries. Same basic process. Go into your games drive, Steam apps, common, Fallout New Vegas, and you can see FNVedit right there. Okay. And you open it. Now you have FNVedit, and it has the correct binary path, so it will do that. And I do the same thing. I don't close it when mod organizer starts. I will now add it. There we go. So you can see it popped up right there. There it is. You can close it. So once again, you have FNVedit, right? So you can highlight it, set it to toolbar. There you go. Now, just like before, you run loot through mod organizer. Now you can run FNVedit through mod organizer. And if you do so, it will go through and basically start the program. Pretty simple, guys. And none of this stuff is really hard. It's just getting kind of the little niggly details out of the way. So we go ahead and just close this. I'm not really going to use it anyways. What is this? I know there's something in my overwrite mod because I actually opened it. I know. All right. So every time you open FNVedit, it will try and create something. FNE backups. We can just go and highlight and delete. Yes. There we go. Clean our override again. Right now it's empty. So basically every time you open it, it will create a file because it's trying to generate stuff. And if you go and clean your patches or create a merge patch, it will try and do that for you. So there you go. And that is FNVedit. And like I said, there's a lot of good resources out there on how to clean your mods. And I was just looking those over. They will give you fine tutorials. I don't really need to go into that, fine of detail with you on this. So there's FNVedit. All right, and the last thing we're going to be doing today is Wrye Flash New Vegas. A little bit of history. It was developed based off of the Wrye Bash for Oblivion and for Skyrim and adapted to Fallout New Vegas. So, it was a little bit dead for a while, but let's go look at the page and see what's up with it. If you go to the Nexus, you can see it's the Nexus mods right there. Note this version is not being updated this time. Okay. There's been some new activity. Let's go look at that. Charlotte Cran is reopening the project and is looking for volunteers. So, it's back in development. And if you go to the files, you can see the most recent one is December 5th of 2014. So that's pretty good. On this, I'm going to suggest the Wrye Flash 16_3 standalone executable. And I wouldn't download it with the manager. I would download it manually. Okay, download it to your downloads file or wherever you send them. And let's go back to the desktop. And you can see I already have it. So, a couple suggestions from Essarrbee of the STEP project is to install this a little bit differently. And that's fine. We will go into our games folder. And Steam. Steam Apps, Common, Fallout New Vegas. And what he's suggesting, and I basically, this is the other way of installing mods, or installing things into your Fallout New Vegas main directory, is to drag and drop. We just did this for FNVedit, just as an example. So you install it there, and we got to go find it. There it is right there. You would highlight it, highlight it, right click, and you want to extract here. Right? It's going to extract the files, and you can see it is around here somewhere. Wrye Flash. I've lost it. Let's just see. Let's open this up, take a look. So it's going to be data and Mopey. So Mopey's right there. And you can see we actually have the Wrye Flash executable. So it overwrote our data files. I wouldn't worry about that too much. If you open this up as well, you can take a look at it, and you can see the bash patches are now in there, docs and any tweaks. Okay. So I wouldn't worry about all that, but it's basically downloading the whole thing in there. And that's why I suggest doing it that way, so it will all end up in the right spots. So you don't have to worry about putting things in the wrong places. Okay. So just remember, the executable is in Mopey, and it is right there with the little symbol. So you know that symbol. Okay. So there you go. Now if you go back, I would just go ahead and take this out. Just delete it. Yep. Everything's been put in there, so you don't need to have that executable in there anymore. Take this and put it on to the side. And we'll close that. Now, just like we've done before, Fallout New Vegas mod organizer. Get that up and running. And we will go back, just put that back to default. And once again, go to your configure executables, and we will do another new one. And it is Wrye Flash. There we go. And in our binaries, we will go looking for it in Mopey. Remember that? Mopey. And there it is. So I'll highlight it, hit open. Now your binary is set correctly for the path. And you want to hit add. There you go. Wrye Flash. Now you've got all three. Loot, FNVedit, and Wrye Flash. Close that down. So go over to our drop-down menu on our executables. There's Wrye Flash right there. And the same thing as before. Hit that on our toolbar. Now we've got almost all of our tools ready to go. We're making progress. So back to that. Now if you want to do the same thing as we did on these other tools, you just click it on your toolbar, or you can highlight it and run it through your drop-down executable. Right? Always do that, just so I know it. Alright, and you can see it has now opened the Wrye Flash New Vegas. So there you go. Now you have the ability to merge mods in here. And in later videos, I may show you how to do that. But there's other information out there. Also, Essarrbee is a good choice for that. I'll show you his webpage again. Just close that down. And there we go. We'll make sure nothing's in our override. Sometimes it's kind of like FNVedit. Oh, come on. FNVedit, it likes to drop things in, but we're not going to do that. So it didn't do that today. Now I'll just go back to our default, and we can close this. Just so you know, guys, always remember this. There is a guide to all this stuff, and it is Fear and Loathing in New Vegas by Essarrbee. Great guide. All these things have been covered under the utilities section, and you can see FNVedit, Loot, and Wrye Flash New Vegas. I tried to do this what he suggested, and basically from the mods tab, right click file on top bar, make sure lock times is unticked. I couldn't find it. So unless it may have been changed, and this page has not been updated to reflect that change. So don't worry about that. When you read this, don't worry about that. I couldn't get it to do it either. So alright. You're not missing anything. So there you go. I'm gonna minimize that down. So there you go, guys. That will finish this video. That is 3 invaluable tools that you can use in your modding in the future, and we will be using those tools as needed with this modding series as we go forward. So that's it. Hope that you found this video helpful. My name is Cal. I'm from Dirty Weasel, and I'm signing off.